Hey folks, happy early Thanksgiving. Just wanted to give you a few quick comments. This is a very impromptu video, so take it for what it's worth. But I wanted to give you a few observations about Forum 3 for this week, the discussion about the SecDef, and also about metrics on gauging how we're doing in the war on terror. First, let's talk about the SecDef. I was never a fan of Mr. Rumsfeld. Unlike many SecDefs, well, I will say unlike some SecDefs, he did have military experience, and he had a lot of experience in the Pentagon as a government civilian insider. However, he was very much a technocrat. This means that he believed technology trumped boots on the ground. And this is one of the things that really got him in hot water with General Shinseki, who at the time of the invasion of Iraq, if I recall correctly, was the Army Chief of Staff. You know, as you may recall, Shinseki wanted more boots on the ground. At one time, the Rumsfeld crowd was actually looking at having no more than 5,000 Special Forces people enter Iraq. So there was quite a disconnect there. I personally side with Shinseki on that. I think that the SecDef was very similar in his outlook to the SecDef that we had during the Vietnam War. Many of you I know, well, probably weren't born, but during that conflict we had Robert McNamara, who had been the chief executive at Ford Motor Company. And so he was very imbued with the numbers and profitability and things that were very important at Ford. These do not necessarily equate well in military environments. And so there were some problems there. He also brought some people over with him from Ford called the Whiz Kids. And he was known for disregarding sage military advice, which in fact, many years later, he apologized for, which I think was to his credit. I don't think we'll see that from Mr. Rumsfeld. But in that particular war, speaking of metrics now, in that particular war, the primary metric that we used was the body count. And commanders, because there was so much pressure on commanders about the body count, that we kind of lost focus of everything else. And there was so much pressure on commanders that, from my understanding, you know, there were people who were counting body parts, all that sort of thing, to try to keep their body counts high so that it wouldn't damage their career. So, you know, this is really pretty ridiculous. I don't agree with that philosophy at all. Now, as far as a metric as to how we're doing in the global war on terror, I think we should continue this debate in the class. I think it's a very interesting debate. I don't think there's an easy answer to it. And I don't have the answer. I can tell you that right now. So let's continue some dialogue about this. I think this is an interesting line of inquiry. My closing thoughts are on technology. When I say that Mr. Rumsfeld was a technocrat, that doesn't mean that I'm anti-technology, because I'm certainly not. There are certain technological aspects of warfare that certainly must be addressed. For example, I have no personal problem with the DoD or CIA using drone strikes against designated targets. It serves two purposes. First, it reduces collateral damage. They're highly focused attacks. And secondly, it doesn't waste American lives. I'm all for it. So that's one aspect of technology that I certainly support. There are other things about warfare, of course, that require modern technology, and so we can't disregard those. But I don't think that technology trumps people. I just don't think so. The reason that I say that is artificial intelligence, or AI, doesn't think outside of the box, at least not now. And I personally don't think that technology is ever going to be able to think outside of the box as a human does. That's just my personal take on that particular issue. I'm really enjoying this session. You folks are really engaged. I find myself thinking along many different avenues of inquiry. I learn probably as much from students in these global terrorism classes as you all learn from me. So it's really exciting. They're great classes. But I want you to remember, this weekend particularly, we work hard, we play hard, right? So I want you to be engaged in the classes you have been. I want you to work hard, but I want you to remember that classes come and go. You're going to get your degree one day. And you know what? Family is forever. So make sure that you spend time with your family. All right? All right. Have a great weekend. God bless, and we'll talk again soon.